Hey guys, it's me, Dennis again. I want to talk about lights on my TN95. I had a question about these lights. Seems like they're quite interesting to some people that's seen this tractor working. So I've done away with all the regular lights on it. I've done away with all the halogen lights. They pretty much just sucked on this tractor. This is the TN95DA. You can see I got square ones on the front. These lights are XK Glow. I bought them on eBay. I don't remember what they cost. Maybe seem like, I don't know, $50 or $60 a piece, maybe $80 a piece. I can't remember. I know they're cheaper than the New Holland lights, but they do a pretty good job. And I also put some spots up here to reach out further because the front headlights on this tractor, they ain't hitting on much either. So these right here really light up the world. Now on the back, I also have the XK Glow lights, and it used to just have single lights back here on each side. Now I have double lights on each side, and you talking about bright behind you now. You can see what the heck's going on with these LED lights. And I kind of like the look of the round ones better than I do the square ones. I wished I'd put the round ones on the front too, but the square ones have a few more LEDs and are a little bit higher wattage. They put out a little more light than the round ones. And that's probably why I ended up putting doubles back here. But anyway, to mount these lights, they were not a plug and play deal. I had to go in here and cut the plugs off the old lights or off the old wiring harness, and I butt connected these lights in. There is no plugs that come with these lights. I wanted to, if I could had, I would have cut the plugs off the lights themselves and put the plugs of those old lights on these new lights. But the plug on the lights that come on this tractor are actually part of the housing of the light. So you can't cut the plug off. So I had to cut the plugs off the wiring harness on the tractors, which kind of sucked because I don't like doing stuff like that. But I also had to make special mounting brackets to mount these lights, because the old lights actually mounted up in these holes, and I had to make this special mounting bracket to mount the double lights so they could be pivoted in all directions. Now on the front, I had to do the same thing, and let me go around to the other side so you can see it a little better. But you see, this is the mount that I built here. You see the tubing welded together and kind of a cross there. That way the light could swivel side to side and up and down. I couldn't think of any other way to mount that light to where it could move in all the directions that I wanted to move. So that was a little bit complicated to figure that out. It's not a complicated design, but it took me a little time to think about it and get it figured out how to mount that light. So then you got these lights. These right here were simple enough to do. I got some washers out of the bolt bin back there, and I welded them. I cut a flat spot on them. I welded them to the brush guard, mounted my lights. I run the lights in this loom. I run it under the hood, and I'm going to show you what I did once I run them under the hood. I got me a relay, and I mounted it right there. That's what that funky looking thing right there is. I mounted it up right there on this front radiator support. Well, actually that's an air filter support. But that relay turns the lights on and off. Of course, I control the relay with the dimmer switch. And how I got that to work was I run a wire all the way up the frame of this tractor, all the way back here into the hood, and I run it back up here, and I tied in to the high beam headlight wire. I found a wire that when I turned the high beam headlights on, it energized, so that's where I tied into my wire. Now I hooked in a small gauge wire, and all that wire does is engage the relay. So there's not really any amp draw on it. The relay has another wire coming straight from the battery to it. So, and it's a heavier gauge wire. So what is going on is you have power coming from the battery to the relay. Then you have a dead wire going from the relay to the lights. Well, that sounds simple, right? All right, well now you got to have something to turn the relay on. And that's what the wire I run up in the hood does. That way when I would turn on the high beam headlights on the tractor, it would energize that wire to the relay and tell that relay to contact in itself, and it turns the front lights on. So, and I wanted it that way because these lights are so bright. Going down the road, I wanted to be able to flip them off if I met somebody, for one. And two is, if you pick up a round bale of hay and that bale of hay right in front of those lights, they're so bright shining on that bale of hay that you literally cannot see what you're doing. So you can't see where you're going. It's like it's just reflecting back in your face off the hay. So I can just flip the dimmer switch and it shuts those lights off, and then I can see just perfectly fine. Set the bale of hay down, flip the switch back on, flip it back to high beam, those big lights come back on, and I can see just fine. See out in front of me good. And one of the biggest reasons I put these lights on this tractor was because I got into doing a lot of nighttime tedding. And people look at me funny like, why are you tedding at night? I mean, the dew's on and the hay's wet. What's the point in tedding it? Well, if you're trying to dry the hay, and you're working during the day, it's shined on the top of the hay all day, and it's, you know, it's starting to crisp on top. Well, when I get home at say 6 o'clock that evening, time I get something to eat, 7 o'clock, I go get in the tractor. I want to flip that hay over so the next day the sun will shine on the other side of the hay. I don't care that it's got dew on it. The dew will burn off pretty quick when the sun starts shining on it. But that green in that hay needs to be dried, and I want to flip that hay over to get the hay to get it out. So I'll flip it over at nighttime while I'm at home. Then I go to work. Next day the sun comes up, it dries the other side of my hay out. Then the next day typically it's ready to be raked. That's why I put these lights on this tractor, because they suck so bad. It was just hard. I couldn't even see where I was at tedding hay. I was out there lost just riding around, and these lights really helped that. It's still tough at times, even though I can see good. Sometimes when you get out there in the field, especially if you've done tedded the hay once, it all just starts to look the same when you're out there in the dark. But anyway, that's how these lights ended up on this tractor. Well, I have bored you enough with my stupid LED lights. I guess I'll let you go. Appreciate you watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And we'll talk to you next time. See you in the next video. Be safe.